What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to be reviewing the MP-12 Plus Lambor, Takara Tomy's version of Sideswipe. So I took a fan vote recently on my channel, and this figure definitely won. It wasn't by a landslide. It was 37% to 30% for Fans Toys Willis. So I might still review Fans Toys Willis, but I figured since people voted, I'm going to review it. So this is going to be more of a quick review. I'm not going to do a full review, I'm not going to do the transformation, but here is the original MP-12 figure. This was like one of the first figures I ever got, and this was back when they really didn't have MP-12. They had kind of already sold out, and it was hard to get, so the only thing I could get was this KO. So this was like one of my first Masterpiece figures after MP-10, and it's pretty much the same as the original, but you can see the box is a photocopy, and it's not the best quality, but it's close. So one difference is the long life design. They now have that logo because they won that award. Pretty much the same on the bottom. Obviously a lot of writing, but it has the Lamborghini hologram. On the back you've got, the original has images with MP-10, whereas the new one has images with MP-39 Sunstreaker. And that's kind of why they reissued this, was so he matched better with his brother Sunstreaker, basically to be more G1 cartoon accurate, at the cost of being less accurate to the original Lamborghini. So you'll see that when we get the figures out, but the actual vehicle mode is a little bit less accurate. But you get the same gun and the same shoulder-mounted missile launcher, but you also get more Piledrivers. Now this original version, unless you get the Takara Tomy Mall exclusive or the, I think it was a pre-orders in some cases, you didn't get the Piledrivers. Now you get all the Piledrivers with this figure. So those are included now in the box, as you can see right there. Whereas this one, just one set of Piledrivers. You don't really need them, honestly, you just need one set. But so that's really it for the boxes, and here are the figures. And the first thing you're going to notice right away is the windshield and all the glass. Now they've made it blue because that's what the G1 cartoon looks like. We'll put an image up here of the G1 cartoon, and you can see that it was sort of a light blue. There is a reason to say you've gone too G1 accurate, and I think this might be that for some people. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But you can also see the tires are gray instead of this black color, and that has to do with also the robot mode in the G1 cartoon had a gray colored wheels, and that's almost kind of going too far. But here's the top of the figures. You can see they've gotten rid of the black paint here and the black paint in here and the black paint back here. So for the sake of these, because these become the legs in robot mode, they want it to be all red, but at the price of looking less like the original Lamborghini, which I think is a little bit of a mistake. Then here is the back of the figures, and you can see it's still got the 3 lights molded, but this one had the actual painted reverse light, whereas this one doesn't. This one says Cantash, or no, it does say Countach, I'm sorry. This one actually, the later KOs actually said Cantash because somebody didn't know how to spell. The new one doesn't say anything. It doesn't say Countach at all, which again, I think that's a mistake. I think you should have kept that. And then on the front you see this one had what somewhat resembled a logo. This one has the shape of the logo, but no actual logo. So that's really the differences in vehicle mode. They don't really do anything other than, and they both roll just fine. There's no real issues there. And they both fit the gun. Now this is 2 guns, and you can kind of see the difference with these is the new one. Now it's hard to tell on my camera, but this one is a painted white, whereas this one's molded white plastic. And I like the painted white, and same for the gun. The gun is a painted silver. This one is painted silver too, but this was more like a gray to be, I guess, cartoon accurate. And these both fit in the top of the vehicles just fine. And you can see they both kind of articulate. The original was a little bit looser And that was even true on the official, even though this is a KO. The official was also a little bit loose on the gun. That was just a problem with the initial release. But for all intents and purposes, they're pretty much the same with the gun, the mold. You can also see the logo here. I forgot to mention, the logo is a lot bigger, Autobot logo. And the headlights, they got rid of the black border around it. Now it's just that clear. The front, not much change there. Looks pretty much the same. So that's really it for differences in vehicle mode. Now let's bring in Sunstreaker here. Sunstreaker. And you can see they both have this blue windshield. And I think that's what they were trying to do, is get closer to this guy. Now this guy was amazing. This is just an amazing figure. You can push these headlights up. And that has a nice look to it. The original Sunstreaker didn't have that. That was something that was added later. Also, this back piece here, and the doors open on this guy. So this is just a great figure. But you can see that these two are a lot closer in their look than this one. Right? Just because of the blue windshield and kind of the overall clean look of the vehicle mode, it tends to match better with these two. So anyway, that's really it for vehicle mode. We'll get this guy transformed to robot mode. I'm not going to go over the transformation here. I don't think that's necessary. There's plenty of videos out there, and this is an old figure. So we're going to get this transformed, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back from transforming, and I'm hoping my camera's picking up the differences. There's some that are very obvious, and there's some that are more subtle, and on the camera, because of the paint colors, it might be hard to tell. But one issue, and this might just be because this is a KO, but the gun never really fit well in his hand. It's just kind of loose, and I couldn't get it tabbed in here. So that might be just the fact that it's a KO, but we're going to take that out now. Let's look up close here. So hopefully you can see these thighs are painted white, very clean white, and these are just the white plastic. So definitely more white. And here you've got the silver on the knees, whereas you got the white here. So they went for the more white cartoon look here. And then the feet are also painted white and red on the back to match the red on the back of the vehicle. Whereas these had the black and the silver. So definitely a different look on the legs for sure. And then you also see how the lights are no longer in the Countach. Right now that it's just black, that doesn't break up the sculpt here of the leg. So that's what I mean when they're just going super tune accurate, trying to just get it to look so much like the cartoon that they've kind of removed detail. Now I'll put an image of the G1 Sideswipe, and you'll see that this definitely looks more like it. It's got, you know, the legs are definitely better matched. The arms are a better match. The color that they used is a better match. And you do have this more grayish white versus the white on the legs. And then the white for the rest of these pieces and this are the same. Whereas this one you had the silver up here. Another thing, and this might have been, again, part of the issue with the KO, but the head was always loose. This part up here just kind of always flopped open accidentally. This one's a little bit tighter, so you can manipulate the head and get it into a pose. As far as the head sculpt itself, pretty similar head sculpts. This definitely has a different face paint though. This is a gray where this is a silver. And I think the gray looks a little bit better. And then you've got the painted blue eyes here, where here you've got the darker blue. It's not translucent, but it's just a little dark to show up through the head. So I think that was a good change. And then they made this logo bigger, so it looks bigger on his chest. And if you look at the back, and that's another thing with the KO, the legs are loose. I don't know if the original had that problem, but the KO definitely has that issue. Now, as far as joints, you know, this is definitely tighter. It's got better joints. Everything kind of stays. And because of the paint, you know, the tolerance is a little bit tighter. This one's kind of loose, but again, that could be the KO. But I seem to remember people complaining about the joints on this one too. Now I feel like when I first took that out of the box, this was one of the first Masterpiece figures I owned, and when I first took that out of the box, I felt like this isn't worth $90. It was $90 when it came out. I got this for $70, but the KO was $30. For $30, definitely worth it. For $70, I don't know. It just doesn't match up. You know, you're trying to compare with figures like this, you know, and it doesn't quite meet the standard of today's Masterpiece. So I feel like the price should come down, even though it was a re-release or a reissue, different color. Let's get in Sunstreaker in robot mode here. And here we have Masterpiece Sunstreaker. And transforming this guy makes you realize how outdated and how, you know, behind the design of this figure is. But clearly, I do think these two just look better together. In vehicle mode, for sure, the difference is clear. In robot mode, it's a lot harder to tell. In hand, it's easier to tell with the white. The colors just pop a little bit better in robot mode. But differences are pretty minimal when you get to robot mode. And I don't know if it's worth the price for the upgrade to get this guy, because you're not going to be able to sell this guy for much. By the way, they still have this hand problem, so when you close the hand, it pops the gun out of the slot, which is stupid. You know, I wish they had fixed that problem. You know, you can't close the hand all the way. But I do think these two look better together. It's a more cohesive unit. We let off one thing, so I did want to show the Piledriver. So here's the original. They were just black molded plastic, and here are the new ones. They're this painted, more silver color. And to put them in, you basically open up the arm, put the hand back in, and just attach it right here. And that's how he looks with the Piledriver. Now, I think that is a little bit nicer. You know, it's painted. Here's the original. It does come with these. Does it even fit? Yeah, it fits. Okay. So you can get the Piledriver look, but I don't know. And you can see this thing is just kind of loose. But so there they are with their Piledrivers. Now you get, with the new one, you get two other Piledrivers. You get these more gray looking ones, a little bit thinner. So that's the difference. And then you get these long, kind of screwdriver sized ones. So these fit on here. There you go. And you can also use, actually let's put them on both hands so we can see what that looks like. I don't know, I never use these because I always have the weapons, but there you go. There he is with the Piledrivers. Now you could probably get into some kind of pose. I don't know. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at posing on camera, but you can probably get him into some kind of pose where he's pile driving the ground or whatever. But I really don't have a need for those. They're going to stay in the box. But it's nice that they give you those. One other thing I didn't cover is these cards. They're essentially identical. There's really no difference. Obviously, they put the new figure on the back in the new, you know, vehicle and robot mode. But other than that, the only difference is it says MP-12 Plus. The colors on here are a little off because it's a KO, but pretty much the exact same card, with the exception of they've changed the colors and they've added the plus. Everything else is identical. And then same for the instructions, they've taken new pictures. But other than that, this is pretty much very similar. If I was trying to recommend for your money, I don't think this is worth the upgrade, especially if you're trying to sell the old one. If you're going to buy two pair and have doubles, then maybe it's worth it to have one in vehicle mode, one in robot mode. This one being in vehicle mode would be more accurate to the G1 cartoon, and this one in robot mode if you don't really care or you want doubles. But that's really it, and I am hopefully getting Fans Toys Hoodlum, their version of Hot Rod next. That is on its way. It's in transit. That's why I'm doing this review, because I don't have anything in hand. But you guys voted. Thanks for voting. Thanks for leaving me comments. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.